first thing that I want to share with you in these videos is a question that I've often get asked by maybe my students or maybe some of my team members, is how come, you know, I have the same chord progression and you have the same chord progression, but I play the same chord progression and it's different from yours, and yours sound better, or maybe somebody else sound different and his sounds so much better than mine and sounds so much richer. Is that question, we all have the same chord progression, but how come we all play a little bit differently, and how do I get better with just the same notes, right? And this is something that I've been asking myself a lot too. And I'm a naturally very chord-oriented person, so I've asked that to myself all the time. For example, I've been transcribing, working on a So What solo, Miles Davis, and I've just been hearing, you know, Bill Evans in the back, piano, comping in the back, and if you know the tune, it's just basically based on one chord, the D minor 7 chord, and then also E flat minor 7, the Dorian modes. So you know the notes, I know the notes of, you know, what makes up that chord, but how come I know the notes and I know that chord, and when I play it sounds so different from him, and he plays it so much better than mine? So that's the question that I've been asking, and that's the question that I've gotten a lot throughout the years. We all have the same chord progression, but why does mine sound different from his, and why does his sound so much better than mine? For example, you can maybe listen to this. And then this. I think you can agree that one of them sound more pleasant than the other. Not that they're better, but sound more pleasant. Why is that? I think the first thing that I want to have you know, and this is sort of like a big concept, is that the arrangement of the notes is just as important as the notes themselves. The arrangement of the notes is just as important as the notes themselves, or the voicing of the notes, which is the arrangement of the notes in a certain chord. The voicing is just as important as the notes themselves. Because how you arrange the notes in a chord will give you a certain feeling, will give you a certain characteristic, will highlight certain things in that chord, and it will make that chord stand out, or will hide that chord, or will make it blend in, or will make it sound richer and sound fuller. So if you're a piano player, this is something that we have to deal with very often, is because we have such a wide range of notes, so many different notes at different places to choose from. So how do we voice our C major chord, or those simple chord progressions, and how do we make them sound better? How do we make them convey the emotion that we want it to be? So this is the topic that I want to explore for maybe a few videos, and I will share with you some of the voicings that I've been using in my church, in my own playing, and maybe some of them in jazz, that has helped me to bring out the message and the character that I want to bring out. So I'll spend the next few videos to share with you these, and in each of these I will be giving you an exercise to work on to highlight that, especially that specific voicing. And I will also be giving you some one etude, a study piece that I wrote just for that voicing purpose of working on it. So you'll be able to find both of these in the description box below. You can find a link, and it will bring you to a PDF file, and download that, and you can work on that for the week, and then next week come back. So the first voicing that I want to show you is the 10th voicing. The 10th voicing. I didn't make this up. It's quite a popular way of voicing chords now in pop music, in worship, and definitely in jazz. Is very, very useful. So then how this works is actually just as like it says. So if you take a C major triad, well, first of all, let's drop that root down an octave. And what you do is you put the fifth in the middle, and what you get is you get the C major triad laid out this way: the root, the fifth, and the third. And what that makes, that third on the top, of course, it makes up a tenth, because the octave, as we know, is the 8, 9, and then the 10th. The reason why this voicing, this arrangement of notes is good, because I feel like it's very emotional, especially if you do them in closer sessions. And it's also very rich and full without, having to play a lot of notes, where you're still using just 3 notes of the chord. And it sounds very full, especially if you double down on an octave on the bottom there. And you can hear this in so many different places in pop music. I just vaguely remember this one, I think. And also this one that's gotten quite popular, I think, in the past couple of months. I think it goes something like this. And if you are in the worship world, you must have heard of this intro. Or another song by Hillsong, So Will I, that guitar intro, I don't remember what key it is, but that guitar intro is based off of that 10th on the outside. So this is something that you can use to your advantage when you're playing chords. So I've written an exercise for you, and also a study for you to go through. So I'll just quickly go through how the exercise is laid out so that you know what you can do when you're practicing. So if you just go on the link below, go find that exercise that says 10th voicing exercise. Go to the link and you'll see 2 versions. I'll just go through quickly version A, and I'll play it through quickly once. What it is a chord scale. A chord scale meaning you play chords going in a scale, up a scale, in 2 octaves, starting in C, and in that 10th voicing position, and you have an octave on the bottom, and you have the 5th and the 3rd on the outside, and you simply go up the scale this way. And the next line is simply the same thing, but a transposition of a half step, and then the 3rd line, same thing, and so forth, and go through all 12 keys, and that will make sure you know all of these in all 12 of them. Version B is a very similar thing, but you've just filled up the chord to make it as full as you can, with all the notes you can in both hands. So you got an octave and a 5th and an octave on the bottom, and then a 5th and then a root and then a 3rd on the right hand. Still this gets a little bit more tricky when you get to keys sort of like G flat major, or maybe like maybe E major, because you will have different accidentals on both of the hands that you have to deal with. So this is a good way to work your voicing, and also to make sure you know the keys and make sure you know the chords that you're in. I'll also play you quickly just a little bit of how that 10th voicing goes, that 10th voicing etude goes. I sort of came up with that in the style like a film music kind of thing. That's what I'm thinking about, those sort of intimate moments, piano driven, little strings. For my own track demo, I've put in a drum in the back there just because I sort of liked how it sounded. So I'll just play a little bit of it. Again, it's really based off of the 10th voicing on the outside, but I've just added some alternate notes into it just to make it feel a little bit more emotional. So there you have it. Remember, the arrangement of the notes is just as important as the notes themselves. The voicing of the chord is just as important as the notes in the chord, because it brings out certain characteristics and it highlights certain qualities of that chord. So next time we're going to share with you the second one, and make sure you grab the lead sheets, grab the score, grab the exercise and practice for this week, and I'll see you again in the next video.